What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to Rival Kingdoms. So over the past few days I've done a ton of raiding against all sorts of different bases, from the individual tournament to the kingdom tournaments. There's a lot of awesome action to be had, and I've seen some pretty good bases. I've seen a lot of, let's say, poorly designed bases here in Rival Kingdoms. So I thought up like 5 tips that I could probably help spread out to the community in an effort to, you know, maybe help out some newbies, or maybe just as a nice refresher for some people that are more advanced or whatever. What are some really good and basic building tips to make sure that you're not making it too easy for people to raid against your bases? Because, I mean, that is the point of the game. You're either raiding somebody else's stronghold and bringing it down, or they're trying to raid your stronghold. And that's the key building, right? Is the stronghold. Once that building goes down, that's it. Like, the victory is sealed then. So tip number 1, right? And this is an example of kind of a poorly designed and defended stronghold. Tip number 1 is surround your stronghold with as many different buildings as you can, especially your defensive buildings, of course, right? Like your watchtowers, your spell towers, your catapults and stuff like that should all be hopefully like equally, for the most part, balanced around protecting your stronghold. This guy right here, I mean, he's got a wall here, but a wall is not going to stop my invasion, not even close, right? Pretty much he's got like this whole side that is naked from being able to defend itself against an attack, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to exploit that and tear down his stronghold really quickly. Tip number 2 for better base building in Rival Kingdoms is understand what the different units do, both the defensive structures and of course the troops. Because if you understand, for example, the weaknesses of the wardens, if you understand the strengths of the watchtowers and the sky towers, that's going to make you not only, of course, a better invader, but certainly a better base builder and base defender. When you understand, for example, what is the catapult's weakness? You should already know that. The catapult is weak against air units. It's great against ground units. It can tear apart packs of wardens really quickly. However, if you put a catapult all by itself, then for one, my dragon's going to tear it apart in a matter of seconds, because the catapult can't do anything against air units. And 2, it shouldn't be out all by itself. It should be supported by other defensive units that can protect the catapult. Because also, if you drop, for example, a couple of maulers right next to a catapult can't do anything. It doesn't shoot point blank. So understanding these things, right? Understanding, for example, that the catapult is really poor against being hit by air attacks is an important part, I think, of understanding how to make a better base. And kind of segueing from that, tip number 3 is be smart about your building placement, right? Since we understand that the catapult is weak against being attacked by a dragon, for example, then it's a really good idea then to therefore go ahead, and this guy actually does do it, go ahead and put an anti-air, the Sky Watcher, or a watchtower next to the catapult, so that way it can be defended. The same goes for, okay, and I've seen this a few times and it's hilarious. People have their Primus conduit, right? That sparkling thing right there, and there's a couple of things. If you read the description for the Primus conduit, which is in the game, just look for the question marks, right? If you click on that, it will tell you that you should place it next to or adjacent to defensive buildings, and it will empower those defensive buildings when charged. So that's like a 2-point thing that's really important to understand about the Primus conduit, is that it has to be next to, for example, the catapult or a watchtower in order to help that building. I've seen some people put Primus conduits out in the middle of nowhere. It's not doing anything out there. Not to mention really easy to take down. Or 2, right, make sure that it's charged. I've seen people, and this guy right here has his Primus conduit properly placed next to, for example, the watchtower and the catapult, but it has no charge, so it's not charging up the catapult or the watchtower, which means it's absolutely useless then. It's not doing anything, okay? Be smart about building placement. You know, understand what, for example, the Primus conduit can do, and then place it around your stronghold and your base accordingly, right? Here's another thing that I've seen that a lot of people seem to do. I'm not sure why they think it's a good idea, but a lot of people seem to be placing their troop portals. Hang on, this is actually a video that I'm showing you guys. Okay, the troop portals, right? Those blue portal-looking things. I've seen a lot of people put their troop portals like this, like it's a wall or something like that, protecting their defensive. This is a bad idea, okay? This is bad building placement, because if I can get a force in there to tear down one of those troop portals, chances are I've got enough power to tear down the rest of them, and then that's 12 mana that I just gained from tearing down your troop portals, which is a massive offensive power for me, using my ancient to then go ahead and deal whatever I want, you know, based on the ancient, of course, against your stronghold, against your base. Don't do that. Spread these troop portals around, otherwise you're just making it really easy for me to collect a lot of mana. Tip number 4, and which is the problem here, is make sure that you're building your buildings, particularly your defensive buildings, while you are shielded, right? Don't have upgrades still upgrading to, for example, your catapult when your shield is about to go down and somebody's gonna come raid you, because, for example, like this catapult, it can do absolutely nothing while it's being upgraded or while a defensive building is being built. Now, there's really not much of an excuse for this. I mean, you have a 6-hour window, right, to do buildings and to do upgrades. And these upgrades, I'm up to Stronghold 6, right? And at the most, I've seen like these upgrades take like something like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. So there's plenty of time to get your upgrades finished while your shield is up. Please do that. I've seen like some bases, like half their defenses are on cooldown because they're being upgraded. Your base is incredibly weak then because of that. So make sure that you're doing that. And tip number 5, guys, and this is something that actually my guild leader said to me, because I was kind of asking him for advice just to see what he had to say, almost kind of testing him in a way, and he was like, make sure that you do all of your upgrades before you upgrade your stronghold. And I was like, that's a really good tip right there. I mean, it's kind of exciting, and I think for new people getting into the game, like they want to quickly upgrade their stronghold as fast as they can, because, you know, then they get all these buildings that they can do and maybe a chance to get into an awesome guild or something like that. But if you're upgrading your stronghold and you're like still a tier or 2 back as far as like your defensive upgrades, or even having even completed getting all the buildings that you can before you upgrade your stronghold, you just set yourself up to a higher difficulty, because that's what happens. When you upgrade your stronghold, you're going to be invaded by stronger people, right? If you're still like not up to par on your upgrades for your defensive buildings, then you're doubly, maybe even triply weak against the next round of incoming invaders. So make sure before you upgrade your stronghold, and not so much with the walls, because the walls are incredibly expensive and there's a bunch of them, but for everything else, all of your catapults, your watchtowers, your portals, everything should be upgraded to max before you upgrade your stronghold. And then hopefully when you're upgrading your stronghold and everything else is already done, hopefully you'll have a nice pool of money as well waiting, so that way when your stronghold is done, you can quickly get to your new defensive upgrades while your shield is up, so you're ready for the next invasion. So there you go, guys. There's 5 tips for how to build a better base here in Rival Kingdoms. Just a quick recap: surround your stronghold so that way it's well protected. Understand what the different units do, both the defensive structures and also the troops. What can they do? What are they weak against? Things like that. 3, be smart about placement. Don't cluster up your troop portals. Make sure that you're pairing a catapult with an anti-air, and make sure that you're pairing your Primus conduit with a defensive building and charging it, okay? Tip number 4, make sure that you're building while your shield is up, right? Or upgrading while your shield is up. Don't have an upgrade still completing when somebody's coming to raid you. Your defensive structure is going to do nothing. And make sure that you're doing all of your upgrades, aside from maybe your walls, before you upgrade your stronghold. Okay, so now that we've gone over the tips, I want to show you the difference, right, between this guy's Stronghold 6, which was easy for me to destroy, and this right here, which I've actually got live right now on my iPhone. This guy has, I think, probably the best Stronghold 4 layout that I have seen up to this point. as far as like me rating against other people, he's pretty much got everything right here. He's got his stronghold completely surrounded. He's got his walls actually really nicely, I think, placed to defend his stronghold. He clearly understands, I think, for the most part, what his units, his defensive units can do, right? Because they're evenly placed around. He doesn't have a bunch of troop portals next to each other, easy to break down, right? And he doesn't have anything upgrading at this time, does he? No, absolutely nothing. He's got everything ready. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Oh, spell tower. So, okay, so aside from the spell tower still being upgraded, this is a really solid base right here. Even though I know I can tear this stronghold apart pretty quickly because I'm way over his level, I'm actually slightly intimidated. Just a little bit. I'm slightly intimidated by this guy's base just because he's placed it so well. And if there were more people that were being smart about their building placement like this guy is, then I would probably not be getting his gold as easily as I am. But as it is now, I am really having a fun and easy time of tearing down people's strongholds with almost only my dragon. Only my dragon. That's an embarrassment if you're looking at your review and I just tore down your stronghold with only my dragon. you really need to do better than that. But yeah, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try and continue maybe like doing like a mini series of these videos of just kind of helpful tips or just highlights of some really epic battles. And there's been some epic battles. I got some replays I could show you maybe later. But next up, I would like to do this in the same, but talking from an offensive standpoint. Maybe five tips or whatever of how to be a better raider. What units that you want to load out with, and timing, placement, things like that, to ensure that you're getting the best of the units that you're putting down and where you're putting them down. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Click the like button to support these Rival Kingdom videos here on the channel, and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video of Rival Kingdoms. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.